What's up, Dragon Brood? So this is kind of just part 2 to that Orion Havoc collection that we went through last time. For those of you who don't know, I'll see if I can remember to link the video up here, I think is where it goes. But I had a viewer who was shrinking, or I guess downsizing his collection, and he offered to sell them to me since he knew I bought collections from people. So we made a deal, he sent me his stuff. Unfortunately, because of the holidays, it took a while to get here, but they got here. So we did the first one, the first half on that other video, and then we have the second half, or I guess the second third here today. So we're gonna put that on camera. I just have the box sitting off to the side. I haven't even gotten into it yet, so that'll be pretty fun. Also, I want to give a little bit of extra insight into kind of what's happening when I'm going through the collections. For this purpose, I'm not necessarily just pulling out all the value and sorting stuff. I'm kind of more just going through it, seeing what's in there, making conversation, and just kind of having chill time with y'all while we go through a collection that I was going to go through anyway at some point. The other thing is too, even when I do pull out cards, there are things, you know, like Farseek as an example, that has some extra value. They're like $1 plus. I don't necessarily always pull those out when I have, well, in some cases 20 or 30 sitting in a box that I just haven't gotten around to getting rid of or anything else. And sometimes it's just, there's two reasons. One, I have been producing a lot of content, which has kept me pretty busy. So that means that's less time I have to kind of go through cards and fill out sell lists and stuff like that. The other is that during the pandemic especially, but even during normal times, whatever we call that now, I do teach people how to play Magic, or when I find people that are new at Magic, I give them like long boxes full of cards. Well, sometimes I like for there to be cards like that in there, so people get the opportunity to go through discovery and one, find useful cards they can play with, but two, have that excitement of just like, oh man, they found $1, $2, $3 card, right? If I already have several and it's not going to break me, and I've already made my money off the collection, I can make somebody else happy. So sometimes I do include a few of those. I do appreciate y'all though looking out and saying like, oh hey, don't forget about this card, and you missed that. Like, just let you know, I go back through them again after the video because I like the process of breaking everything down on a video would be very long and boring. So I don't necessarily want to do that. But I'm more so just going through and saying like, hey, do I want to just pull out like the chafe, the bulk rares, whatever, and give myself kind of a mental checklist. And then when I'm done, I kind of do the quick split, and then I break it down into like sellable order type stuff or stuff I'm going to put on Cardsphere. So anyway, that's just a little bit of background to what's going on. But let me switch camera angles. We'll hop over and we'll just see what the rest of Orion Havoc's collection looks like. All right, so this collection, I'm gonna try to, I know my audio was a little weird last time. This collection shouldn't be as long, so this should be a shorter video just because, like I said, it's like if they'll put the whole thing together, this is like 1/3 where the rest was 2/3, I think, just based on the size of the boxes. So getting in here, oh wow, this is funny. Like, these look like cocaine bricks. They're in plastic bags inside of a plastic bag. So what's funny is they're packed in a way that they fit in here pretty tightly, really. So the cards are likely in decent shape, I would imagine. But let's find out. Let me get my mouse and stuff out of the way, give it a little more working room here. And I was told there wasn't like a ton of just true bulk. Most of what we saw for bulk in the last collection is supposedly, I guess, like indicative of what's going to be here as well. And as I kind of mentioned last time, we didn't see a lot of black and green cards, so it's probably what's going to be in a lot of this collection. I'm going to go ahead and open all of these at once. If y'all will give me a second. I didn't prep this at all, just because I wanted to give like an actual reaction if there was something in the box. Because I try to keep it at least fun and genuine, you know, where I can. A little different when I purchase larger collections and I have to see more to kind of know what I'm getting, or I'm working with a stranger in some cases. Alright, there's those. And then these. Alright. And then there's one more bag of those, which is about 2/3 full, it seems like. So we'll get this one out. I will say though, this is actually a smart move And this isn't, you know, I've wrapped stuff differently before, but, you know, when you're talking about sending stuff during the winter months, especially where it's going to be places going wet or snowy or whatever, there's a good chance your box might take some damage, right? So double wrapping all the cards, actually as silly as that looked, is actually a really good move. Okay, so this looks like a stack of probably just basics in the last one. Yeah. So this is a couple hundred basic lands here. So I'm just going to set these up top because we can still use those. But again, I've been teaching some people how to play who likely can use those more than me right now. So I'll probably just include those with some other cards. So let's slide these out of the way and let's start going through some piles. All right, let's set those over there. Let's see what we got here. So this looks, oh, Karametra. Commanda's actually worth a bit too. I see those come up a lot. Pretty much any of the like tribal lords seem to do pretty well. I guess because of Commander, I would imagine. Tomorrow, Wayfaring. There was a period where Fevered Visions was actually worth a little bit too. So that's like a random card people don't seem to know about, but you want to check on those every once in a while. Crackling Doom, I hated playing against that in Standard. Man, that card was annoying. This card was really good. This card had a moment. You know, I would say the Mana Strider, both in Standard and even in Modern, this got some play because it is a human, and it went into that deck also. So there's a few spots where these types of cards, even if they're not worth a lot right now, they could have a moment in the future where they come back. So don't necessarily sleep on them. And here's the other thing too. There's sometimes some Planeswalkers in here. Xenagos, cool. Trostanis, I actually play those in my Commander deck quite a bit. There's a lot of times there are cards that may not go for much on buy lists. That, you know, you might look at a rare or something and think, okay, well, this is only worth, you know, they're only giving me 50 cents or 25 cents. But you know it's better than that or feel it's better than that. Maybe you hold on to it for a year, especially right now. While people aren't necessarily playing a lot of the older paper formats, maybe you wait a little bit, you know, as some of that supply dries up or some of the Magic stuff gets sold by people while they need cash, or I don't know, some of them move on to other games or other hobbies that they discovered during the pandemic, right? Like some of those cards you've been sitting on that might still be useful in those formats are not going to be as many of them out there. So that's something to think about. We're kind of in a weird time right now. You know, Anafenza, Gitrog Monster. People love the Gitrog Monster. Like, I can't count the number of times I've heard people say, like, oh yeah, I have a Gitrog Monster Commander deck. Yeah, super popular card. And I sort of get it, right? It's got like a fun mechanic as far as like sacrificing and getting the playing extra land, and like it's got a lot going on for it. Oh man, like this is gonna take forever because this pile has so many things up. But like this card was probably one of the most disappointing cards in when we get back to Innistrad, right? Because everybody was kind of excited about there being a new werewolf lord, right? There's obviously going to be a thing so we can play werewolves. And then you got this as a legendary creature that didn't even care about werewolves, really. Like, I mean, it's a flip card and all, but like, he just didn't really care. You know, like, and it was kind of like, why not make a lord that just has, and it was one of the, I think I remember too, it was one of the later cards previewed by Wizards. So everybody was kind of anticipating what it was going to be. And then when this was it, everybody was kind of disappointed. What else is in here? Ooh, Omnath. Like, a more balanced Omnath, mind you. But Omnath. Like, this is one that I think people are going to really like, too. Like, that's a good one. Sigarda's cool. Armada Worms. Yeah, this whole pile is actually pretty decent. I mean, there's Electromancer. It's a common, but still played. What else do we got in here? Voice of Resurgence. I think there was some play. Oh, the promo Mirari's Wake. That's pretty sweet to have in here. Actually, I don't know. Was that a promo? I think that was a product card promo. But either way, it's Mirari's Wake, which is always useful. So don't hate that. Casualties of War. Good card, though I hated the card. Ashiok, Damirad. Oh, yeah, so there's a little chunk of Planeswalkers. Like, oh, man. This card, I had a big, like, this is, if we go back, man, at some point, if y'all come by the stream, I'll show you and remind you. But there was footage from a SCG Open of me playing with this card against Mono Red, and it is a house. Like, it was so good. Oh, yeah, Sylvan Safekeeper. This is a card we had at a card spotlight just the other day. So, yeah. By the way, for those of you that are new to the channel, if you watch any of my deck play videos, I actually do a card spotlight at the end of each video. So uh, if you're thinking about flipping off video, hey, there's some info at the end of the video. Sometimes it's history lessons, sometimes it's just story time, sometimes it's financial advice. So you never know. Collective Unconscious. Oh yeah, this is cool. Some of these aren't as good as the other ones, and now we're getting in some of the bulkier green cards here. Let me turn my... I don't know why this camera always wants to be lower. I need to set this. By the way, I am getting very soon. I already ordered them. I have a better camera arm coming in and a different mount for my mic. So getting to do some of this other content is going to be a lot better with some of the stuff I've set up. Rites of Flourishing is another one that goes pretty well. Overwhelming Stampede tends to be a card that you're not going to get a lot for money-wise, but it seems to trade pretty well, as people that are playing creature-based commander decks tend to be looking for that quite often. Thragtusk, Gutter Grimes, Archdruids, those always have a little bit. This is a great commander card too, though it's been reprinted a bunch. I think it was even in some starter decks for like 3 different years, but cool card still, just the same. Parallel Lives, always a good one. This is one, don't sleep on this. I mean, it's obviously not doubling season, but people still love this card. This card has a lot of followers and players. Hydras also do very well. Always a thing people are looking for. At some point, I feel like I need to just make the Hydra theme deck for something. Whether I play that online or if I play it in paper or whatever. It feels like something I just need to do. Alright, Avacyn's Pilgrim promo. Not worth much, but it's cool. Oh, these are foil. A stack of foil cards there. More Hydras. Let's see. Nissa, another Nissa. Wayward Swordtooth. This is a weird one. Like, sometimes this is just worth a bunch. And it doesn't appear in a lot of decks. But I guess you can play an additional land each turn. That's enough words that make people want the card. I just find it amusing. Some Garrick's, it looks like. Oh, Freyalise. Yeah, there you go. That's a good one. Multani, not bad. Yeah, there's a lot of good random value here. Birds of Paradise have, in the last, like, 2 years, it feels like they've started to surge back up in price a little bit. They had sort of dropped off at one point, and I don't know why, but it seems like they're kind of coming back. Foil Rishkar, very cool. Colony Hydra, also very popular. So yeah, lots of things in here. That's the thing. This is a good pile because even the stuff that's kind of what you would call bulk or just like commons and uncommons, actually are mostly playable in this pile. So it's kind of nice that I won't have to go through and shave too much of the junk when I go to give these to people. Like even Imperious Perfect is highly playable and sellable. Draugr Warcaller shows up on buy list all the time. Arlen, Vivian. So yeah, this is a good little pile. This is pretty good stuff in general. There's a foil Soul of the Harvest. Oh, there's a haircut in there. That happens. I mean, believe me, if you saw the things I've seen in collections, oh boy, there are stories. And it's one of those things you don't worry about. You just wash your hands afterwards and call it good. Traverse the Elvenwald. This is a card I think we thought was going to have more long-term value. And it has shown up in a couple of decks, but not as much as I think everybody thought it was going to. Another Imperious Perfect and an Archdruid. Seasons Pass. That's always a good one. Primordial Hydra, also good. Damage Naturalize. Fortunately, it was a whole bunch of Naturalizes. It's like 15 of them. Oh, and there's more in this next pile over here. All right, more Naturalizes sitting on top of the pile. Didn't even see those. Okay, well, this is literally, it's like he collected Naturalizes. This is like 30. I don't know, Orion, what the story is. Why do you have so many Naturalizes? And they're mostly like the same art even. Like, that's weird. But okay, hey, we all collect our things. Pattern of Rebirth. Okay, so these are from all different sets too. Green Sun Zenith, always a good one. Scoop Mobs. Nissa. Pier. Hardened Scales. This is another one. Like, this has a couple of decks based around it, you know, pre-COVID when we were doing a lot of those formats. So that's kind of cool. Guiltleaf Archdruid also is pretty good. A foil Hardened Scales. That's pretty nice. The other thing too is when you find foils in older sets, like especially if you go all the way back to when they first started doing foils, around like 7th edition, 8th edition, like those have a lot of random value. So if you come across those, you may want to scoop them up and check out their prices. You'd be pretty shocked what some of those go for. Growing Rights of Itzalmok, also a card that I think people forgot about. You know, there's a lot of random cards from Ixalan and Rivals that actually are more valuable than people think. That's a set that I think when it came out, it was kind of just considered underpowered, or these sets were considered underpowered by comparison. So people didn't really think much of them, but as time has gone on, more of the cards seem to be finding more and more homes into decks, whether that's casual or competitive. So definitely give those another look. If you've got some of those sitting around, the Ixalan sets actually have a little value hiding in them. Bow of Nylea tends to come and go a little bit value-wise. Nettle Sentinel generally has value because of the combo elves. Scrib Ranger also has some value. Even gets played as one or two of in some legacy decks from time to time. Elvish Champion, cool. I don't think this particular one is worth a bunch because if I'm not mistaken, Elvish Champion was like the inserted rare in like the 8th edition starter decks or something. So or starter packages. So I mean, it's still worth a little, but not really compared to other 8th edition foil rares. Crewfix, Corsair Crewfix, always pretty valuable. These had a little bit of value till they got that last reprint, and they seem to have come down somewhat. Life from the Loam, that's always worth a little bit. That's a good one to find in there. Ronus, Eternal Witnesses, Tireless Tracker. So yeah, another Life from the Loam. And another Colonial Hydra, sorry. So yeah, that's actually a good pile. Like that whole stack, I would say, is pretty good. You know, nothing really too upset about that. I'll go through that for sure. Yeah, the other thing too is when I'm going through these collections, there's very little bulk in general. When you're talking about, you know, stuff with no real value or stuff that I'm not going to be able to use, there's very little of that. Like, so I'm going to have to go back through these stacks anyway, organize them, alphabetize them, work them into the rest of my system because there's just so many that are actually useful. You know, this isn't like a normal collection that's like 80% chafe and maybe 15 or 20% valuable stuff. Like this is, even the stuff that's not what I would call valuable is actually useful in a lot of ways, which is good. Splinter Twin, another Draga War Caller. Not Splinter Twin, Splinter Fright. Different card. Azuris are cool. Evolutionary Leap also has a little value. More Archdruids. Priest of Titania's always move. Slayer's Battalion had a little bit of a moment. Once they got reprinted in that dual deck, I think they sort of fell off. Ooh, a bunch of foil Soul Azenda cards. Unfortunately, the Souls never really got popular. I thought maybe they might even poke their head into Commander, but they never really did. Primal Surge. Yeah, and this is actually just another Titania. So actually, this is a different Titania. Actually, this is the first Commander one that it came in, not the Planeswalker. Or Freylease was the Planeswalker. We haven't had a Titania Planeswalker yet. Got those names mixed up. Different green character there. Elusive Tormentor. Those are promos that weren't for much. Drana goes for a little bit. Seems to always have somebody. Oh, Drouse Messenger. Yeah, okay, so again, going back to the Innistrad sets, a lot of the zombies that came out of those sets have, or zombie-related cards, tend to have a decent amount of value too. So check those if you have some sitting around. It's the type of stuff that you kind of throw to the side and go like, all right, this doesn't have that much value. But you never know. I mean, you'd be surprised. You go through and you've got a bunch of 50-cent, $1, $1.50 things. And Diagraph's Colossus there. And before you know it, yeah, Crypt Breaker as an example. Totally. If you've got Crypt Breaker sitting around, you can sell those for sure. Dark Salvation. Occasionally, that's another one I can move pretty well. So, yeah, I'm digging these piles. These are actually very cool. Like, lots of good stuff in here. Actually, this is probably the worst chunk so far of anything we've seen. Virtus the Veiled. That's from Battle Bond. Oh, a few Battle Bond cards in here. Gravecrawler, there you go. There's another one that we're talking about from those sets. You'll be able to move for sure. Duress, Shadowborn Apostle. Yeah, okay, so again, you know, we're talking about this the other day with like the rats and the whatever the other ones was, the blue ones out of Ravnica, right? But this is another one where you can have any number of these. These are always on buy list. People are always like somebody somewhere. There is a Magic player somewhere that is building the deck where you can play a bunch of these and some number of demons, right? That's always going to be a thing. So if you have these, for sure, you can get money for them. There's another one. Yeah, so the more of those in here, the great. Those are going to be... Now, they're not a lot. You're going to get like $1 maybe, you know. But they're something, you know. Bloodchief Ascension, Vraska's Contempt. What else do we got in here? Let's see. Oh, more Shadowborn Apostles. Oh, whoa. This is a whole pile of Shadowborn Apostles. Like... There's more apostles here than there were naturalizes. Look at that. This is like a deck's worth. Oh, well, there's some other stuff hiding behind them. Okay, hold on. I'm going to count how many there were here. Because that was a big stack. All right, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 2, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. And I think I saw 3 others, so we're going to call this 45 Shadowborn Apostles. Look at that. That's crazy. And they're in pretty good shape, too. So, yeah, those are definitely sellable. Just a stack of Shadowborn Apostles. That's pretty hilarious. Other things in the pile that were in the back end. Death Denied. Oh, and Obnixilis. That's cool. Don't hate that. Oh, and Liliana's Last Hope. This is actually pretty cool too. So yeah, that stack was surprisingly good. Let's see what else we got. Another Gravecrawler. Zombie Apocalypse. Gonti. Actually, Killing Wave actually comes and goes. You can get a little bit for those. Yeah, but there's some incremental value in here. These, unfortunately, these came out of like the starter product. You just don't get anything for these anymore. Like, I think every vendor just has way too many of those. And they're just a hard card to move. It's cool. Again, like if I'm making piles of stuff for beginners and they're getting their first stuff, like including 1 or 2 of those is actually kind of neat. Not a bad thing to do at all. But that's about it, right? There's not any real value in it. But it's a type of card that if you just start playing Magic and you're playing black and you have a Nightmare, it's actually kind of sweet, right? It's a cool card. Jory and, let's see. Oh, Dramoka, Broodmate Dragon, some Planeswalkers, Cold Eye. Okay, this is actually a pretty hot stack here. Oh, also, somebody, let me point out, like, I had the card of the day was a Dragon Broodmother a couple weeks ago, or actually a couple days ago, because Orion Havoc had sent me one to autograph, you know, as part of the thing. And somebody said, you know, it's tough to make your signature card a mythic. And the truth is, I don't need it to be a mythic. Like, I am just excited that anybody wanted me to sign anything, to be honest with you. But if it's your favorite card, I will sign it for you. If it was just a random dragon, that probably works for me too. So it's not a huge deal. You know, any card would be cool. I just thought it was funny because I used the phrase like, what's up, Dragon Brood? And there's an actual Brood Mother. But here, I guess, you could have a Brood Mate Dragon, which is sort of the same if you have those. Both of them, by the way, have promos that are not very expensive because the cards aren't great. A couple different Nicol Bolas, Scarab Gods, Counter Squall, Consuming Aberration. Like, this is actually a very good pile. Undermines, Mina, yeah. Detention Sphere. Oh yeah, this is definitely a good pile. I'll have to go back through and pull quite a few things from. Vorath. Utter End, surprisingly. Oh, Spell Quellers. Alright, that's a thing. Definitely get some play in the older paper formats right now. Knight of the Reliquary. Still a big fan of this card. Hasn't been worth very much for quite a while now, but I do really like that card. Matter of fact, I think I have it in one of my Legacy decks right now. Fleece Mane Lions, not worth much, but I do like the card. What else do we have in here? Divinity of the Pride. It's been reprinted a couple times, but these both actually occasionally carry some value, so you may want to look those up. Old's foil Sphinx's Revelation. That's cool. Swift Silence. Conflux. What's in front of that Conflux? Oh, nope. That's not any good. Adonis Climb. Cool card. I should probably be playing that more. Master of Cruelties. This is one that always has some value, too. I think people look at this type of card and just go like, it's too gimmicky, whatever. But no, it's a mythic that's gimmicky and people like it. So yeah, if you got some of those, move them. Oh, another foil Mari's Wake. That's neat. So there's 2 of those in this pile. And that's kind of neat because I might replace my regular Mari's Wake with those. Oh, Regisar Alpha. I have such good memories of you, friend. Yeah. And then a Vindicate there at the back. So yeah, this actually has been a very good stack of cards. So like this box, very nice. No complaints. And the fun thing for me with this box is so far I've seen probably like 15 or 20 cards that I would keep just for myself. You know, that, again, to fill out some of my personal collection stuff or things I might want to build with at some point here in the future. That was a big stack. I wanted to like break it up there. Oh, well, see, there's a promo. Knight of the Reliquary. I say promo. I think it came out of a deck product, but yeah, non-set regular one. Some Sorens, Saheelis, lots of Saheelis. Angras, Nahiri. Oh, this is the Planeswalker stack, obviously. Teferi, Domri, Sarkin, Arlen. Oh yeah, this was a good pot. There's a Prosh. That's pretty cool. Foil Narset. Gaddock Teague foil extended art. That's cool. And seeing this is fun for me because I do have a Gaddock Teague in my current commander deck, so I might just replace it with this one just because it's cooler. I don't know. And I'm not really one that's big on foils. Original Najeela. But, you know, in cases like this, there's another Omnath and Selvala. Old Athreos. Yeah, the old gods out of those sets are actually worth a pretty good chunk, too. You may want to look those up. Zakama, another one that goes for some change now. Mogus. Yeah, but I'll look occasionally if there's just like a cool thing for my commander deck, because I don't care as much. But for stuff I'm shuffling regularly in like 60 card formats, I'm not too big on foils for myself, honestly. I sort of stay away from them. No particular reason, I'm just not a foil type person. Skylark and Selesnya Charm. So yeah, those are the foils there were neat, but there were still definitely some useful cards in there. All right, so let's set that aside. Make sure I went through all that. Okay, yeah. Just double checking. I think I got my piles mixed up. I want to make sure I showed everything. Oh no, this was the other part of that pile. Okay. Well, let's set those over there. And let's see what else we got. Blast of Genius. World Purge. Dramoka's Command. Alright. The commands aren't bad. Always pretty useful. Not that they're all equally worth anything, but they exist. There's another Nicol Bolas, Siege Rhino. Who was also a card, Spotlight card, I believe. Prized Amalgams. These are in a couple of decks as well, so this is another card that you'll always get something for it, it seems like, even if it's not a ton of money. I mean, but it's one you can move. You know, so you may have a pile sitting around thinking it's bulk, but it's like, no. Those actually are worth a little bit to people. Not too much else in this pile. There's some Niv Mizzets. Another Fevered Visions. Tarka's Command now. Those are cool. Cool to see those. A Daragaz. Alright. Not too bad. Another Adalmary's Call. Cool. Oh, and randomly, Protean Raider. Oh, it wasn't this card. Never mind. I was thinking of something else. There was a different card that had surprised me out of that set that was valuable too, but wasn't that one. I just got my cards mixed up. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Got some more black cards. Toxic Deluge. Still useful, sellable. Waste Not. Elder Reborn, not so much anymore. It was pretty hot in Standard. There's another drawn. I think that was 3 in these spots. Sanguine Bonds. Whenever you gain life, targeted player loses much life. You can always move these. Now, I say that. Since it's been reprinted, it obviously has come way down from where it was. But people always seem to want those. Royal Assassins, once upon a time, was a powerful card. Not so much these days. What else do we got in here? Sign in Blood, Disciple, Season, Perverter of Truth, Ever After, another Gonti, Burglarat, Reanimate. These are always pretty good. You know, you can get a little something for Reanimates, pretty much always. Oh, Kalitas. These actually have hit some pretty high values, so definitely like Kalitas. As a matter of fact, I think I only maybe have 2 left, so I might actually keep this as my own third Kalitas there. Beacons don't really draw that much. I think they've just been reprinted too often. Oh, there's a poor beat up Liliana. She's seen some better days. Still reasonable though. I might still keep it. Hey, there's a Shadowborn Demon to go with all those Shadowborn Apostles. Let's see what else we got. Obnixilis. Not the Planeswalker. Grave Pact. Yes, you can always sell, trade Grave Pacts. It's an annoying card, but people love that card. And then some full art lands. Okay. We saw most of the non-basic lands in the last collection, so I'm going to assume that these are just full. Okay, no, that's foil one. Oh, there's some artifacts here, so I won't be so hasty. Let's see, Lash Ride. Let's see what else we got in here. A few things. Oh, Soul Rings. We'll always take Soul Rings. Ring of Zathrid. Skull Clamps are always movable. I'll take those. Signets are fine. Yeah, Signets and Talismans are always. Helm of the Host. That's another good one. Damping Spheres. Gilded Lotus. Quicksilver Amulets. Also always popular. Same thing with Coat of Arms. Always popular. I can't remember a time where you couldn't move a Coat of Arms, honestly. Door of Destinies. Man, there's a lot of good stuff in here. Yeah, another Quicksilver Amulet, another Helm of the Host. Were those 2 cards together? Nope, just a thick foil. What else is in here? Library of Lang just hiding out. Old border there. Akroma's Memorial. Check that out. Always could use more of those. That's always a popular card. Just look at all the keywords on there. Your creatures, all creatures you control gain flying, first strike, vigilance, trample, haste, protection from black, and from red. Like, that's just a lot. You know, in Commander, that's just one of the best things you could be doing. Silence of Markham, Swiftfoot Boots. Also tend to be very popular. Being able to give hexproof to your key cards. Never a bad thing. Stuffy Dolls. Chromatic Lanterns. Though Chromatic Lanterns have been reprinted recently, so less so, but still reasonable. Cryptolith Rites. Traverse the Overwalds. And is that it? Is that it? There's a couple other cards back here. You have a Bow, Joiner Adepts. Alright. And then we'll set these over here. And I think, yeah, these were just the basics we saw earlier. So nothing else in there. Alright, cool. Let's switch back to their angle and do a quick wrap up. Well, alright. That was actually pretty cool. I mean, between those 2 boxes, there was a lot of work for me. Man, my shoulders are tired from actually like hunching over looking at cards for that long. But yeah, I actually love this type of stuff. You know, it's always neat to kind of go through a collection, see the history of it, kind of look at the era of cards or see what the player valued or collected. And, you know, I want to say thanks again to Orion Havoc for even agreeing to sell me stuff, but also being okay with me having it on camera. I mean, collections, we're all geeks and nerds on some level, and we all collect our things and go through a history and have an attachment to stuff, so it can be kind of hard, you know, when somebody's going through it's like, I'm sure at any point, y'all have taken stuff to a vendor, or had something personal that you went to sell, and having somebody tell you like, it's only worth this much, or I can only get this out of it, or I don't know why somebody has so many of these or whatever, and it feels a little weird, you know, because we do have those attachments to our collections as hobbyists and enthusiasts. So yeah, it's actually a cool process, and it's fun just to see all that's in those collections. But you know, in the comments, let me know what you would like to see from these types of videos. You know, I kind of enjoy just the story time, going through it, whatever, but I mean, is it about value? Is there a process thing you want to know? Is there whatever? I don't know. Just let me know. This is kind of a thing I just throw up every once in a while, and I'm trying some different stuff out. And who knows, if there's something you want to know or I can incorporate, yeah, let's do it. If you haven't, consider please liking the video and subscribing, because that'll help me out as we're trying to reach our 10,000 subscribers. I say that as I'm recording this, but we might already be right near 10,000 subscribers. Either way, your subscription will be much appreciated just the same, whether we're there or just short. I would still appreciate it. And remember to check out all the links in the description below, whether you want to catch us on Twitch, on Twitter, or if you want to come over and just hang out with us on streams over there, or just join us in our Discord, and just come talk about Magic or just other things as the days go by, and just fill your day with other more nerd stuff, because we like doing nerd stuff. But that's all I have for you for now. We'll see you next time.